What is up, fellow humans of the internet? It is your buddy Nessa, and once again, this is Squared Circle Addicts. Now, first and foremost, I would like to apologize for the late upload this week. I know typically you guys expect me to upload on a Monday and a Friday, but it's been a pretty busy week, and so I'm uploading today. So, again, I apologize for the delayed upload, but nonetheless, I am here, and we have lots to talk about this week in professional wrestling, more specifically the stuff going on in the WWE. So for this one, it's going to be a hodgepodge of different things in an installment called Inside the Squared Circle. And this is something that I hope to do with cases like this when we have big weeks in wrestling and there's just so much to cover that it's more of a condensed video as opposed to multiple different ones. But let's start off with this past Sunday, going into the Royal Rumble. The biggest news after Royal Rumble is, of course, Becky Lynch winning the Women's Royal Rumble. She took Lana's place. I think Lana was supposed to come in at number, I believe it was 29. And Lana came out and had her leg brace on and was unable to compete in the match. So Fit Finlay gave Becky Lynch the go-ahead. And the final two ended up being Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, with Becky Lynch eliminating her greatest foe, if you will. And then the crowd popped like crazy people, as expected, because it's the man. The man won the Royal Rumble. And speaking of the man, happy birthday is in order. She turned 32 years old, and I think it's incredible because I think 32 is going to be a great year for her, and I think she is 100% definitely headlining WrestleMania as she challenges Ronda Rousey, because, of course, on Monday Night Raw, that's what we found out the next night. She pretty much said, Ronda, I'm coming for you. She was like, you never came looking for me to prove that you were the best, but I came looking for you to prove that you are not. Ronda got a little bit upset. I think she let her anger get the best of her. I think this is the first time we've kind of seen Ronda implode, and she pretty much told Becky, I realize that you and I are the same age, and when you were working as a flight attendant, I was main eventing in a sport that didn't even let women, fight to begin with, obviously alluding to her UFC career. It was an awesome promo. It really, really was. It was a good segment. It was funny, though, because the whole time that Ronda was shouting at the man, she literally looked unbothered. She was just like, meh, whatever, but I'm still the man. Like, it was just great. And based on Ronda's tweet on social media talking about, if you want to watch me, if you want to watch a bunch of performers talking crap to me and me resisting to beat the shit out of them with my bare hands, here's the Raw recap. She pretty much tweeted that, and essentially I'm thinking, oh my god, this tweet makes no sense, because she's pretty much saying that, Becky Lynch doesn't fight for real, and once upon a time Ronda Rousey fought for real, and I hate using those terms, but that's pretty much what the gist of the tweet was, which I found really confusing, because I was like, but you're a professional wrestler now, too. I understand that Ronda was probably told to tweet that, to stay in kayfabe, to, keep the heat going, to keep the feud, generating. But it just didn't make sense, and it wasn't something that I would have written for Ronda had I been the one in charge of that. But based on that, I think they're going to make Ronda Rousey the heel in this situation, and it really is going to be a case of professional wrestler versus like a mixed martial artist. Of course, Becky practices mixed martial arts, and of course Ronda Rousey is a professional wrestler now, but I just think that's what it's going to boil down to, and then also leading into the 4 versus 4, I think that'll make the most sense, with Ronda's team being the heel team and Becky Lynch's team being the face team, obviously. Moving on over to SmackDown on Tuesday night, of course, we kicked off the show with, once again, the man, Becky Lynch, and she was pretty much, claiming what she had already done, claiming her main event spot at WrestleMania, only to be interrupted by, once again, her greatest foe, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair pretty much basically saying that Becky learned to be the man under the tutelage of a queen, and Becky's response was to punch her square in the face, and it was absolutely incredible. Becky said no words. She just punched her, and then a brawl broke out between the two, and then the referees had to break it up, and the crowd was chanting, "Let them fight! Let them fight!" So I don't know what's going to happen there. I read on dirt sheets that apparently the WWE is trying to figure out a way to insert Charlotte into the title picture at WrestleMania, making it a triple threat. I, for one, hope that doesn't happen. Nothing against Charlotte Flair. She's an incredible athlete. But I think this is Becky's moment. This is Becky's story. And I think the match does not need a third person in it. And I just think it should be one-on-one. That's me personally. But I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see what this ultimately leads to. Of course, on Monday Night Raw, going back to that for a little bit, we saw Bayley challenge Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship in an open challenge. Before the match started, Ronda was trying to cut a promo, and the crowd was not having it. They were chanting Becky the whole entire time. They pretty much ate Ronda alive out there, and the way that it was translated on TV, I don't know if this was how it was in real life, but the way that it came across on TV, it looked like Ronda was literally about to be reduced to tears because she didn't know how to handle the whole, like, you know, people chanting for someone that's not even in the ring. Like, at first she was smiling about it, but then you could just see, like, all right, like, I'm having enough of this. I don't know what to do. And she couldn't even finish the promo. It got to the point where Bayley had to come out and interrupt her and then cut a promo of her own, to which the crowd popped for. Yay, Arizona, I love you. You're my kind of people. They even chanted the, hey, we want some Bayley, and the, I want to know, will you be my girl? Like, I loved it, and it proved that Bayley is still over, which is incredible. They had a good match. Ultimately, Ronda Rousey retained, and of course, that's when Becky came out and issued the challenge. That was pretty much all the big stuff that happened on Monday Night Raw. Moving on over to SmackDown, or actually, can we go backwards just a little bit? Let's go to time travel. Can we go back to Sunday? And I just want to allude really quickly. I love how in the Women's Royal Rumble, they filled up the Royal Rumble with future stars as opposed to legends, because last year we saw a lot of legends. This year we saw a lot of future stars, We saw Io Shirai, we saw Kairi Sane, we saw Candice LeRae, we saw Casey Catanzaro, and of course, my personal favorite at number 24, Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley had a great showing. I think she had about 3 or 4 eliminations. Casey Catanzaro had that amazing moment where she pretty much jumped from the barricade to the ring post and then, like, spider monkeyed, like, slided from the ring post into the ring. I don't know. It was really, really cool. I was really, really glad, like I said, that the WWE didn't rely on you know, former stars, and they're like, this is our future. I really, really did love that. Another really cool takeaway from the Royal Rumble that I feel like we should talk about is that Nia Jax competed not only in the Women's Royal Rumble, but also competed in the Men's Royal Rumble, making her the 4th woman to do so. Of course, the first being Chyna, the second being Beth Phoenix, the third being Karma, and now the 4th being Nia Jax. She actually eliminated Mustafa Ali after he had a 30-minute showing in that Royal Rumble. And then she eliminated one more person. I think it was Andrade Cien is who she eliminated. I'm not necessarily sure. I can't really remember. But then there was this whole, like, inner battle going on with the men. Like, you know, should we hit her? Like, she's a woman. Like, you know, should we? But then eventually, Dolph Ziggler super kicks her. And then Rey Mysterio 619'd her. And then RKO hit her with, I mean, not RKO, but Randy Orton hit her with the RKO out of nowhere. And I don't know. I thought it was incredible. A lot of mixed reactions from that segment. A lot of confusion. A lot of people, you know, on one side saying that it shouldn't have happened because it sets a bad example for kids, that it's okay for men to hit women and women to hit men and all this stuff. But then on the other side, you have that empowerment angle of women can do what men can do, and if not, do it better. And I'm all for that. I just wish that Nia Jax wasn't at the helm and wasn't the example being used for that movement, because I make no bones about it. I'm not a fan of Nia Jax. Her character is absolutely boring to me. She's bland, and I think that her reckless endangerment in the ring is something that needs to be, she needs to make precautions for that. I don't. Sorry, guys. I don't know. My phone did something weird, and I thought it stopped. My bad, guys. But like, I don't think she needs to be rewarded for that, and the way that she's making come off Twitter, it just seems very arrogant. And I just wish that it wasn't her being the one to spearhead that movement. But that's just my personal preference. Like whether or not this means intergender matches in the future it remains to be seen. But I think that would be awesome. Because on Monday Night Raw we saw her get into like a little confrontation with Dean Ambrose, and she pushed him, and then he left. So I don't necessarily know if that's going to be a continuing thing or if it's just going to be a Nia Jax thing. But if the WWE is going to implement intergender stuff, it wouldn't be the first time because they did it in the past, but then when they turned PG, they got rid of that. But I think it would be awesome. There's already so many matches that I would like to see, like Sasha Banks versus Finn Balor, Bayley versus Elias, Seth Rollins versus Becky Lynch. Like, I could go on and on. There's so many matches that would be so promising, and I think it would be really awesome for a woman to hold a mid-card title like the Intercontinental title or the United States title. I mean, China did it before. Why can't they do it again? You saw Lucha Underground give Sexy Star a world title a couple of years ago. So I think it would be really, really cool if WWE jumped on board for that. I'm all for it. Again, I just wish Nia wasn't the one to spearhead that movement. Also, in the men's Royal Rumble, really quickly, I know this is kind of back and forth between days, but there are just things I want to mention here. In the men's Royal Rumble, we also saw stars of NXT. We saw Aleister Black. We saw Johnny Gargano. I think it was awesome again to fill the ring with future stars as opposed to, your part-timers or your Hall of Famers. And again, we did see Kurt Angle and we did see Jeff Jarrett, which was great, but I just really love how they highlighted the future. So that pretty much takes care of Monday and Sunday. Moving on over to Tuesday for SmackDown Live. To me, the only substantial thing that I really want to talk about is Daniel Bryan unveiling the new WWE Championship. It is an eco-friendly WWE Championship made out of hemp. It's made out of all hemp, and it made me laugh because I was like, Daniel Bryan, are you trying to tell us something? If you know what I mean. And it just made me laugh, and I think it's great. I think it's funny because they paired him up with, Eric Rowan, and I've even seen this online, the same sentiment. It's like the straight edge society, but for for vegans, I guess. And I think it's awesome. I'm intrigued to see where it goes, but it's just a little bit confusing because last night, Tuesday, Daniel Bryan was wearing a shirt that said, I don't remember exactly what it said word for word, but it was along the lines of no violence, no hate, no sexism, no homophobia, just love. And I'm like, how could you wear a shirt like that and be considered a heel? So I don't know. Me personally, I love the new Daniel Bryan. Whatever it leads to, I'm all game for it. I hope that they give him a lengthy title reign, but we shall see. Another really quick thing that I want to talk about, before I go, I should say, is the two biggest news articles coming out of WWE this week, in that apparently Hideo Itami has asked for his release, and he has been granted that release. And apparently, all over Twitter, wrestlers are using the hashtag I respect Hideo Itami or thank you Hideo Itami. So wherever he may be going, whether that's ROH or New Japan Pro Wrestling or AEW or, wherever his heart content, Lucha Underground, TNA, I don't know, but I do wish him well, and hopefully I catch him some other time. And then the second story regarding a superstar asking for a release is Dean Ambrose, Jonathan Good. And don't really know what to think of this one. I don't know if it's a work. I don't know if it's real, because usually WWE doesn't announce things like that so early, especially because it says that his contract is over in April. So I'm almost thinking, is this a work? Is this part of the storyline? And is this going to maybe set up Dean Ambrose versus Triple H at Mania? I mean, they did have a little segment and where, Dean pretty much told Rollins, why are you kissing his ass? Like, you were anti-authority and you were buddies with him before, and now you're buddies with him again. Like, this isn't the Rollins that I know. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what this means for Dean. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's a work. I don't know if it's real. But if it is real, it begs the question of, what happens to Renee Young? Does Renee Young follow her husband? And in a weird way, I hope not. I hope Dean is the kind of guy that's like, hey, it's okay, honey, you could stay in WWE, but I'm not going to because it's not for me. And I'm just saying that for selfish reasons, just because I love Renee Young on commentary, and I think she's been a breath of fresh air with, Corey Graves on commentary and Michael Cole. I don't know, she compliments them well, at least in my opinion. One quick thing I also want to allude to is that Seth Rollins obviously challenged Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship, and then he obliterated him and sent him home with 5 F5s. Another really quick thing that I want to allude to that I don't necessarily think I did is that Becky Lynch is now wearing a knee brace. Whether or not that's a real injury or a kayfabe injury, I don't know. But I'm going to say that I think it's kayfabe. And hopefully that doesn't affect the main event of WrestleMania, because, like I said, I read reports that they want to somehow insert Charlotte into the main event match at WrestleMania between Becky and Ronda. And I don't necessarily think that's necessary. I think Becky deserves her one-on-one match, but I've been hearing reports that apparently at Fastlane it's going to be Becky versus Ronda. I mean, not Becky versus Ronda, sorry. Becky versus Charlotte, and if Charlotte wins, it's a triple threat. And I don't know if, like, they're playing up that injury and that's going to, affect the way the outcome of the match is, or if she's legitimately injured. I'm hoping it's not a legit injury, but we shall see. But, yeah, man, lots of good things in wrestling happening, lots of possibilities. I'm excited because we're finally getting Becky versus Ronda, something that many people have been wanting to see since Survivor Series. And lately, the WWE has been alluding to the Four Horsewomen, both teams, Ronda's team, and I'm going to say Becky's team, because let's be honest right now, Becky is the leader of the women's division. So I'm going to say Becky's team, even though it was Charlotte's dad's team. I know. But that's just my opinion. But, I think a lot of that is going to come into play because, WWE even released a video of, like, Becky and Bayley giving each other the fours in their little segment that they had on Monday. So I don't know, but there's lots of possibilities, and I'm excited about all the things and all the stuff. And, yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next. But until next time, be sure to hit the notification bell. That way, every time I post, you guys can know. And if you like what I talk about here on Squared Circle Addicts, please give me a hit the subscribe button. Sorry, give me a subscription, hit the subscribe button. I'm all twisted today. And if you like my opinions and you think I'm cool, feel free to follow me on Twitter at GreatLove91 for all my wrestling shenanigans. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Take care, stay safe, but most importantly, stay addicted to the Squared Circle. Later, guys.